Yes, we do. We need to have a serious talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. I got to play it, and I'm here to talk all about it and showcase some of the gameplay that I was able to record courtesy of Ubisoft when I played just a couple of days ago. Well, hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and no surprise that finally we get ourselves an Assassin's Creed game based in feudal Japan. It was supposed to happen sometime. I thought it would be way sooner than later, but I certainly am excited to explore more of the world that I've already gotten to know and compare this game to other games like the upcoming Ghost of Yotai, the previous Ghost of Tsushima, and of course all other games that take place in feudal Japan. Now, I've been to some of the locations that are featured in this game, including Osaka and Himeji Castle, which you'll see today in our gameplay, and they certainly look realistic. And I'm curious to see what else the team does in order to try to bring a modern Japan all the way back to feudal times, where some things are kind of open to interpretation and maps may not be perfect, and it's a video game, so they don't have to be. Even if there's a documented record, well, this is an Assassin's Creed game, and we all want to jump up and assassinate everybody. Well, actually, in this game, there are two characters, of course, that created a little bit of controversy, possibly part of their delay to later in this year rather than last year, and maybe this gave them more time to improve upon the things that I'm more interested in, which is the open world aspect of the game, all the things that we get to do, and then, of course, all the landmarks, like the castles and temples that I've literally been to and that have been around Japan for thousands of years. Well, join me now as we take our first look then at some gameplay and break it on down and talk a little bit more about the game. The whole discussion will be taking place through the whole video, where I'll be bringing up some of the things that you might love, might like, and things that you wish could be different. And at any point that you want to let me know, comment down below on your thoughts about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Will you get the game? Is it the best game ever? Do you like the combat? Is it something that could change? What Assassin's Creed game has the best combat, and what one would you relate it to closely? All right, well, let's go ahead and take our first look. Oh, and by the way, before we do, I just wanted to make mention, and this is, some people are going to miss this in the comment section, so just watch out for the whiners down there. I played this game with a little bit of latency. I streamed this from Ubisoft servers. I didn't have an actual download on my side, so in terms of gameplay, the only issues that I found so far are of blocking and riding the horse. I was really horrible on my timing on trying to block and parry enemy attacks. You might see that in the video, and I hope that has something to do with the game's latency being streamed to me for this event rather than it actually being installed on someone's PC. And also the same with the horse, where it was either sluggish for turning or sometimes would continuously run in a direction. So that might be something to kind of keep an eye out as you're watching gameplay today. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump on in, and let's keep the discussion going about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let's go. All right, time for some Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay. So, I've already played a little bit of the game at this point. I haven't gone in completely blind, and there was a little bit of an intro section to explain what was going on, but things are out of order as this is kind of a work-in-progress build, as you see in the lower right corner. So everything that we're watching here is a little bit past the initial start of the game. The two characters have met up and have their different goals and are playable at any time throughout the game, so definitely dig in for a rather kind of long playthrough and a long explanation here, and I think that does the game best by literally showing the gameplay, and that was my biggest concern about this game, is that there would be not enough gameplay here, and I also wanted it to be slightly different than the Assassin's Creed games before it, but yet still very much Assassin's Creed. That's asking a lot of the game, but with, again, other games like Ghost of Yotai coming out soon and Ghost of Tsushima in the past, as well as many other great samurai games, and of course tons of lore and respect and knowledge about this time in history, and also of course how pivotal it was for Japan. Well, we'll have to see what they do to both gamify things and also to bring about some sort of fun. I mean, like, it's got to be fun, got to play like a game, but it also has to teach you something, so we'll see how they do when we meet some of the characters. So as soon as we get past this screen, you see all the menus behind us, like, for example, the well, there's the map menu, and then there's like our inventory, objectives, and then also some breakdowns of our oh, actually, we do have a chance. I just remembered, too, we get to own and operate our very own base in this game. So there is base building here that goes a little beyond what I remember from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I can't remember if the other Assassin's Creed games had base building or not. To this extent. I mean, it does give you a grid and allows you to place buildings down. Some of the B-roll footage will have that, and I'll try to link some of that in as we have it, and or dump everything they sent at the end, because there's a lot of stuff that was really unknown to me about this game, and a lot of stuff that I think I don't know, people are just going to be concerned about and or not know, and might either miss out on a rather okay gem or a good gem and or a regular old Assassin's Creed. Now, honestly, all the Assassin's Creed games lately have been what I I expected, and I was really happy with Mirage recently. I mean, a straightforward, straight shooter Assassin's Creed game is good, just like if they were to make a new Hitman. But if they made something along the lines of something like the new Hitman, what is it, the World Contracts or whatever, the roguelite version of it would also be very cool in Assassin's Creed with all the different worlds put together. That should be something they should consider to do. All the different elements of Assassin's Creed, all the different maps that you've gone to times in history, and characters that you played as, and try to do your assassinations that way. That's not present in this game, but that would be a damn cool thing for them to do since they have such a massive franchise at this point of all sorts of different times in history. So we'll get started in just a moment. I just wanted to use this intro section to dump off a lot of info. And I know people have been saying that I like to yap a lot, but honestly, if we do not give you that information, if I don't tell you things, then it's just a non-commentary gaming channel. And that's just not what it's about, man. I got to tell you my experience. Otherwise, without providing this with context, people could say that it's the best game ever or sucks. Like I mentioned, the latency for both blocking and for riding the horse will be present here shortly when we do get into some combat. So just keep that in mind. All right, things truly begin now as we go into our knowledge ranks, and we're going to spend some basically skill points on all these different abilities, and both characters have completely different skills too, which is really awesome. They have their own sets of weapons, and then their skill points are not shared, they're individual, so you get a lot of points to spend between the two, as far as I'm aware. Now, of course, there's your standard katana, and then we have things like the shinobi, which allows us to be more stealthy, and then there's like throwable weapons of a few different types, as well as a grappling hook too, and some of them are already pre-unlocked. At this point, I think the developers gave us a build that had characters that had a little bit of armor, decent armor, and a little bit of like skills unlocked to let us do something more than just start with a basic bland character. So this is very much a game that has different difficulties to it, as well as there's a canon mode for it too that you can turn on and off. In other words, there is a intended story that the developers have made up and want you to follow, but you can turn that off, which is off by default, to then choose all the decisions for the characters in the game. So whether or not you want to, have somebody assassinated or not, or to go on a mission that maybe the developers don't want you to go on for the main story, it's kind of multiple ways to play. Now, immediately upon playing this game, I had the feeling of, do you remember the game from years ago called It Takes Two? It's like the husband and wife co-op game where you have to kind of work your way through the backyard and you're shrunk down, I think. And I can remember playing it and enjoying the hell out of it. And that is a game that you immediately want to play again because the experience of one character, like for example, the husband, is completely different than the wife. So you want to switch to play again because it's almost like two games in one. And honestly, that's what's present here too. I mean, you could literally play through the entire game, about 99% of it, or, well, maybe, I don't know, 90%. There's some 4 sections where you got to place both characters to introduce them and to involve them in the story. But when it comes to, like, the open world stuff, you literally could just play as one character. Now, as for playing as our assassin here, I've already forgot her name, by the way, because I haven't really played it long. There's Yasuki, who is the big O tall guy, and then also Naoe, I think? I forget the pronunciation. But basically, Lady Assassin here is truly an assassin. Very weak on swordplay, but also very sneaky and very powerful, though, if you can parry and block attacks, which I was having difficulty doing. But you can see all of their attacks here kind of giving you the classic Assassin's Creed abilities, like Golden Bell to attract people. Of course, you got your smoke grenades and your throwable weapons, and even the ability to, use a lasso to whip at people's feet, but it's made of a chain and allows you to with people down and knock them over and stuff like that. So every mission is playable either by brute force with Yasuke or with with Naoe. You can of course go full stealth and try to assassinate everyone without even being detected. So it is cool that you can flip at any second throughout the game. When you're just kind of getting bored of one character, you switch to the other, so that's good. Or you can play as one or the other. So technically, I guess you could play through 4 times. One time the canon run that the devs want you to play, your own run where you're playing as both characters, and then another run as each of the characters. That's a total of 4. But yeah, you have your horse in the background too, customizable weapons for all your throwables and everything. You can switch between those. So all the good standard stuff is here, and even the different tiers of armor. Now, I did not see yet any of that Ubisoft predatory store stuff that we're seeing more and more from them and a few others. And I don't like that stuff. Shouldn't have to pay $5.99 on top of your game to get extra weapons and other cosmetics and stuff, and they're all for it, man. So I don't see anything leading to the store here, but of course we have the objectives, which is like our map, the world, or sorry, the objectives, which is like the actual like quests, the world, which is the map, inventory, and then the mastery, which you saw before with the skills. Now this is the world map, and this is a heck of a world map. It looks real good. Been to a few of these locations before in Japan or through them. I've definitely been inside Himeji Castle and definitely been in Osaka Castle as well. Check my Instagram down below. You'll see some of these places, and they're beautiful. But, of course, they're not necessarily historically accurate past, like, the castle and stuff like that, and I am okay with that because they're trying to make a game around that where, you know, they want to have certain mechanics and plenty of walls and things for people to climb up. So, pretty cool. Now, I'm not sure exactly how big the map area is. If you see when we zoom out here, you'll see some gray edges to the map, and I don't know if that was limited just for this build or if that's just Chapter 1. I'm not sure, but the map does seem rather large and detailed, too, showing streets and trees and buildings and temples and things of that nature. So, and clearly depicting where water is, to which I believe we can use a boat. Characters did mention that at some point, that they needed to get a boat, and so I'm hoping that they can at least traverse maybe down the coast. Not sure about that, but it would be a missed opportunity if in Japan, a nation of boats and later tons of trains, did not put in any sort of like river travel or coastal travel too. All right, so yeah, so any performance, keep in mind this is being recorded on Ubisoft's side in 1080p. Don't know why, but yeah, I think it ran okay being streamed. It looks even better than when I played it, so you know, I forgive. Yeah, please forgive me, and I forgive them for the situation here. I think it'll only look better and will only be more like stable and fluid, but looks good, man. I'm all for this architecture. I love it. You know, like I'm biased, 110% biased because it's Japan. I mean, it's beautiful. This game has got me very excited for Ghost of Yotai, and I was literally in Japan in like a hot spring, staying at a you know, an onsen. When I come back in my kimono, or the I forget the other name of it, but Dukata. Anyway, those are the two, and you know, come back in and see the trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows drop, and I'm like, well, what the hell? Look at the odds. That is some crazy timing. But this looks good, man. And you know what this really makes me want to is a that leg though, a Japanese like city builder, something along the lines of Manor Lords. There's a lot of cool like feudal and fiefdom type building for all these like pre-industrial revolution nations and times in history that I wish we would get something like that. So at least we have that in this game. I'm trying to chase this dog down, by the way, to give him a pet. So I'll tell you whether or not you can pet the doggo in the game in a little bit. But yes, there are elements to building your base here, and they did show a little bit of that, and I hope I can find that in the footage that they also provided, courtesy of them, to show a little bit more of things that we weren't able to showcase here today. But essentially our mission here, as they call them, boards to see all the objectives, is to go essentially just meet somebody and be escorted into the castle. So, yeah. Okay, so now we've got some objectives, and we're going to go kind of wander around for a little bit. I am trying to take my time mostly to, you know, I'm well aware that the, you know, demo or whatnot that they showed us could end at any moment. So my thought here as I'm playing is to really just kind of break down the whole world and see what it has to offer in its appearance. And I also did see in the world map, and some of you eagle-eyed viewers out there may have noticed that there did seem to be on the world map a seasonal transition. And I don't know if that has something to do with, like, missions only being available, like, during, you know, spring, summer, fall, or winter. The game does mention in a few of the haikus that your character's reading that they do have, like, they mention those seasons a lot. So I don't know if they're leaning heavily into that being a game mechanic, or if it's just something where it's, like, kind of you fight whenever you want. Now, another cool thing, and I can't remember this returning from other Assassin's Creeds, but I could imagine it being there before, is this guiding line. I only remember this now. I was like, oh, that's cool. You hold left on the D-pad, and there you go. It brings up the GPS line for you, which is nice. You don't have to navigate through the map multiple times, which I always do in, like, Kingdom Come Deliverance, for example. And, yeah, I'm also playing on PC. I didn't mention that yet, but I am playing on PC with an Xbox controller, but, of course, this will be available on everything. Let's listen into the cutscenes.
You must be the one Lady Nene speaks of.
You could say that, yes.
Good. Come. Lord Kuroda Kanbei awaits.
I was expecting something more discreet.
My lord will soon join Lord Hideyoshi on the front lines. But before he goes, he must secure Harima's borders. To do so, he has welcomed Lord Ukita Naoye, daimyo of Bizen, to attend a Rengakai today.
What is it with warlords and their poems?
An affirmation of the ties that bind our existing alliance. To be clear,
Tokube, I must inquire about those men from Shugoku. I did not know they would be attending.
Lord Kambe has demanded the presence of all guests from the west of the country. This includes those men.
the young Lord Ukita Hideye. I trust your meeting with Lord Kambe went well.
I think so. Yes. Oh! Who is that with you?
I can confirm that we can absolutely pet the kitty.
You are unlike many of the guests we have here. What are you doing in Himeji?
I lost a bet with Lord Kambe. Now I'm the new Rengashi.
Why would a Rengashi carry such armaments? To mete out punishment for bad verses?
You know a lot about this place for a young man, my lord.
As a hostage in the care of Lord Hideyoshi and Lord Kanbei, I have seen many faces come and go. I serve my father to keep the alliance between the Ukita clan and Lord Hideyoshi strong.
That's a big responsibility for someone your age.
Yes, I suppose. Goodbye for now.
Also, another thing I don't remember until more recent, but we're actually able to, like, when a character's walking around and talking to us, we can hold A and they'll, like, latch on. I think I've seen that in some other games, but devs of all games, please, if you're going to have our character have to follow around like somebody in a lab coat walking around a lab slowly, and our walking option is way faster than theirs, and or the alternative is to sprint or whatever, please, you know, no matter how slow our character can go, just let us, like, link to them and walk at their pace so it's not so awkward. I mean, let them, you know, kind of wander around and let us, you know, almost be towed around by them at their pace. That's a cool feature that just adds a little bit more to the immersion and takes away from the clunkiness of, like, trying to avoid people and crap in the pathway while you're trying to listen to a story. But yeah, really good gardens and stuff. Oh, also, I'm goofing around with this guy, see if I can knock him down, piss him off. We'll see. Good stuff, man. More cutscenes coming soon as we link back up with this guy.
Lord Kanbei, your other guest has arrived.
My friend, welcome. You must be the one Lady Nene referred to. Yasuke's ally.
I am Naoe. I didn't expect Yasuke and me to be granted a social call from Lord Kuroda Kanbei. I hear you are in charge while Lord Hideyoshi is away. Some say even while he is around.
People exaggerate, and greatly at that. But we are not here to talk about me. There is an impending attack on Lord Hideyoshi's allies, orchestrated by a man who operates in the shadows.
What do you think this man in the shadows wants?
To destabilize our efforts against Mitsuhide? To stop me from marshalling allies and march towards Lord Hideyoshi? I would rather not speculate. I wish to expose this man and his forces in Harima, which is where you come in.
Where do I start?
Today's Rengakai serves as a reminder of our alliance with Lord Ukita Naoye, an ally we rely on to secure Harima's borders.
The boy's father.
You've met then? Good. Hideye was part of the terms of our alliance. He is young, but a bright, precocious boy, a perfect token for the continued goodwill of the Ukita clan. Above all, young Hideye understands his role. He has quickly learned to tamp down his instincts for sentimentality.
Your token is a hostage not here by choice. Of course, he is sentimental.
In our work, sentimentality is a liability for daimyo and warrior alike. We judge ourselves on how we fulfill our obligations. If you did not believe this, then we would not be talking now.
Lord Kanbei, I must interrupt. We will be starting soon. My father has arrived.
Of course. Thank you, my lord. Many of Lord Hideyoshi's allies will be gathered in one place. Do you understand?
You expect our target to attack today?
Understand what we will face up ahead. Afterwards, I hope you will join us at the Rengakai.
Join you in the one place I can't blend in? If you insist.
I would accompany you myself, but my rank simply refuses to do what I ask. Lord Hideye will show you the way.
Good to see you again. You seem important.
What makes you say that, young lord?
It's not every day I escort a shinobi to a Rengakai filled with daimyos and officials.
You're an accommodating host, my lord. What should I know about the Rengakai?
A Rengakai can be many things. A demonstration of insight, or a means to reflect on the nature of things. Given my father's presence, it is likely a declaration of intent, an extension of the alliance between our clans. Lord Yukinaga, on the way to the Rengakai?
I don't believe we've met. I am Lord Konishi Yukinaga.
I'm Naoe. What brings you to Harima, Lord Yukinaga?
I am assisting Lord Naoya in the reconstruction of the temples and shrines that were destroyed in previous years.
I thought Lord Naoya was a military ally.
Lord Naoya is concerned with the well-being of the people, especially now that it is Lord Hideya's home. These shrines and temples are a reminder to the young Lord Hideya that his father is always present, even when he is not.
Here you are.
An autumn's breeze fades. Gentle rains turn crystalline. Solid, yet brittle.
Changing of seasons. Another battle, same war.
Interesting.
Apologies, my lord. How might I refer to you?
This battle you speak of, what do you make of it?
More families crushed and innocents killed. It's no different from the battles that have come before or after.
And yet, you are no merchant, not a monk, nor a poet. I would ask why you've come here, but I think I already know the answer.
Which is?
For similar reasons that I am here, I presume. Who do you serve?
I seek to help the people of Harima, if that's what you mean by similar reasons.
A conundrum. Despite all we do, all our capacity for greatness, we are inevitably bound to someone in our power. This Rengakai. The terms of engagement are set by Lord Kanbei's hokku on the imagery of seasons.
The third poet stanza should reverse the hokku, right?
The third poet must not speak of seasons. Even if his heart tells him, it is the correct choice.
It looks like you've prepared your lines already, my lord.
A stanza my son wrote for me. We do not see each other often.
Rengakai seems to be a good place to put his work to good use.
I will read it once my business in Harima is settled. My visit here has informed what I will speak about.
What might that be?
Regret.
Ukita Naoye.
The huggy flower. Yearning for soil it knows. Petals fall silent.
The hagi flower.
No! Unhand him now!
Hideye.
Don't let them escape!
It seems Lord Kanbei's hunch was right.
Yeah, they got guns, y'all. We get guns too, though, in this game. Still trying to time those blocks and parries. Unfortunately, again, that latency here in the way we play this is making the what I really want to do, you know, the parrying and the blocking, very difficult. So more dodge rolling than I wanted to do. Playing a little bit more like a Dark Souls-like game, but don't worry, we'll get it eventually. It's not too bad of a problem. I think we're also playing on standard difficulty they set it at, so things only get more challenging from here if you don't really think it's that difficult. But yeah, getting shot at, that's not great. But getting stabbed ain't great either for that guy.
I could not stop all of them from escaping.
Escaping? What did they come for then?
Lord Kanbei, a handful of guards are dead. Commander Tokubei is nowhere to be found.
His body was not found among the dead.
No, my lord. All casualties have been accounted for.
Except for one. They have taken my son. My son!
Lord Naoye, we must trust that whoever took Hideye will not harm him. There is no value in doing so. I will order a barricade of all roads in and out of Himeji. We will find him.
A barricade! I want our men on alert. My own security detail within Himeji. We should hope my son is found soon. For his sake, and for the sake of this peace, Lord Hashiba Hideyoshi so desires.
Could this be our man in the shadows?
Those attackers, the Ronin. You smelled it too, right?
Incense. An overpowering smell. Unlike any incense I have ever come across.
In a few days' time, Lord Naoye and I will draw up the next terms of our agreement. A meeting in Himeji Castle.
Not without Hideye. We'll set out on a path to find him. I suspect that same path will lead us to the man responsible.
Lord Kanbei, we've arranged for transport back to your home in Himeji. You will be safe there.
Yasuke, Naoye, exercise caution and discretion. The Alliance cannot be threatened at this time.
Hideye is innocent, just a boy. His safety comes first.
You have our word, Lord Kanbei.
These daimyo use the boy as a pawn in their political game.
When you trade in human lives, everyone is up for barter.
Not if we can help it.
Then it is a good thing we have leads. The castle commander, Tokubei, is missing. there's also that strange scent.
Our target has been busy, but we know what to look for.
Yeah, so at least there's sections where we get to pick into kind of different phases of a chapter or within like a quest. But then again, you could pick these characters at any time, so immediately we could change from Naoe back to Yasuke and just continue to change between the two. So long as, again, I think we have to be out of combat and not be like being searched for by the enemies. So yeah, but great looking ground effects, really interesting cutscenes. I'm not sure if all this stuff is in order, but it probably would make a little bit more sense with some earlier context because we're a little later in the start of the game. But you can pet the doggo too, yeah. Not only the kitties, but the doggos.
You are a friendly thing.
And indeed, they are a friendly thing. Ground looks good, though. Lots of mud and accurate water and such. And attempts at drainage. Looks pretty good. Alright, so now we got to pick some of our quests. This also up here is the hideout, and I was going to see if we could fast travel there, but it seemed to be disabled, so I'm not sure if it's available at this point in the game, but we could definitely go back to the base and teleport there to then build at any time with materials that we find out in the world, or money, or whatever else that may be required, and then of course we could upgrade our equipment there at the base, and even further upgrade the base itself. So, cool little base building, a little bit of customization there. I do remember something like that from Valhalla, but not to the extent of like building it in a grid. I just can't recall, that's all. But yeah, really cool that we could actually improve our weaponry by also improving our base. Building something is always cool. Usually either prices of items in these games are insanely expensive and just like not realistic because the game is trying to get rid of the currency that you're using. But I would rather developers give you more stuff to build with and to do and to buy. I think Kingdom Come Deliverance does that well with the many different ways to make money, and I bring that up because I've been playing it recently, and the sequel's right around the corner, so it'll be interesting to, you know, compare like a game about, you know, ancient area of Bohemia in the modern-day Czech Republic, and also a feudal Japan, you know, Assassin's Creed Ubisoft game. It'll be really I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. I do believe this game is a little bit more fluid and easier and has some pretty cool parkour, but it absolutely should always have that since it's such a requirement for the franchise. I mean, it would be like having Assassin's Creed without assassination. But the environments look really good day and night. There's even rain effects and animals and, you know, like flora, fauna, weather effects, smoke, other things that will happen. And there's also a feature in the game to be able to send out scouts. So we could build spies or spy networks, like Trust with Spies, and then send them out throughout the campaign. So I'm not exactly sure what exactly like the elements of how to do that are or what it's supposed to do. But I know by at least basic default it's supposed to scout out where things are. Certain missions may require it, or it might reveal the map a little bit. So there's a lot of bonuses there. Now there's good old Osaka over there. Very nice. And as I had mentioned, that hard, dark area on the far right side might be the final borders of the game on either side with the diagonal slashes through it. But seems like a pretty big map, I guess. I'm not entirely sure because, you know, if we were able to drive or fly over it, we'd be able to see it more clearly. But we can at least fast travel as well. So I'm dispatching some spies here to see what's down there and see like what we can find out about what looks to be a quest down there. But it didn't seem to reveal any of the map, didn't find any items or any enemies or anything that you'd think that a spy would want to look for. And it does show, or scouts I should say. But regardless, they're still like kind of going behind enemy lines. There's enemies there, and they're going to tell us, or should tell us, who's there and what other supplies are there. That's the way it should work. That's how it should work in my mind. But yeah, something we'll have to figure out further on that later. But it is cool that we can actually use those units to look around the map a little bit. Okay, so our main goal then is to go try to find some guy's wife. And I think she's in a house up here, but regardless of that, I wanted to go look out and find all the cool little, you know, trees and temples and houses. Everything looks really good and takes a little bit of time to look around. And I haven't found anything yet, though, that was like previous versions of the game in Assassin's Creed as a whole, where there's a lot of like open market areas and you can climb up on almost endless amounts of houses, and then one of them will have a window open, and it's kind of like a puzzle, right? Maybe you'll have to like throw something through the window to open the door on the other side, and then inside is a box, and then maybe that box also has a ladder next to it, that kind of thing. Also, a really good job with the music where they kind of, for whatever reason, almost make it like a Western a bit. It's somewhere between like Quentin Tarantino and, you know, the like classic Japanese filmmaking, both Godzilla and also the classic samurai films too, where they put in like some Western, meaning like American Western, like Wild West, yeehaw, type music mixed with feudal Japan. And it kind of works. I mean, it's not like the... you know, the hip-hop banging music that just feels too modern. But they did do a good job of trying to make the music poppy and kind of modernized, but not modern. So I did appreciate that. And some pretty chill vibe music as well in the background as we explore. We've played a game called Sengoku Dynasty recently on the channel, and that allows for 4 players to cooperatively build like a medieval, or rather a feudal Japan village, I think right before or during like the Edo period. And so that allows us to, actually the Sengoku period, hence the name of the game. This takes place, though, I believe at the end, towards the end of the Edo period, 1579 or something like that. So yeah. Oh, a little bit of combat we're going to get into. Cool. Some bandits are fighting some guards, but I don't care. I'm just going to lay waste to everybody. So we'll see how it goes. And again, watch for that slow block and those horse controls, too, as we try to navigate around. Options to assassinate, though, so long as you sneak up behind somebody. And different weapons for the enemies, too. They have, like, bow and arrow, and I think they have, like, sai, you know, those little fork-looking things. And then also katanas and big O spears and, like, other types of pole arms. Pretty good combat music, honestly.
Fight me!
He's down.
I won't ask you again.
And I think we can actually, yeah, threaten and intimidate the local guards and people like that.
You're not that bright, are you?
Fight me! Down there! Down there!
Alright, time for another quest then.
Damn it all. That the smell of incense. Are they involved?
Lord Yukinaga, you look troubled.
Naue, you remember that smell, yes? When Lord Hideya was taken.
I remember that scent. I'm hoping it might lead us to the young Lord Hideye. Tell me more about it.
I have encountered this particular fragrance before. Many times, in fact. Business associates of mine. They are keen on helping Lord Naoya and I with reconstruction of holy sites. They are a strange group, to be sure, and that smell is unmistakable.
Do you think these strange men will come for you next?
I do not know, but Thank you for not doubting me. I want to help find the young lord as well.
Tell me more about these merchants.
There is one thing I know about them. These merchants are from Bizen.
Lord Ukita Naoye is the daimyo of Bizen.
The Yokita clan is powerful, but not without its share of enemies. It is not unrealistic that someone from the Western territories would target my lord's alliance with the Lord Hideyoshi. And now, these men are expecting another shipment immediately after the attack. Why? They come here every day in large droves. I do not plan to give this shipment to them.
Let me go in.
All right, time for some more difficult
Never seen
combat.
merchants' arms
This
like
mission
this.
here, having
Who
to
are
fight a
these
few
men, really?
seemingly bandits, are actually a little tougher than usual. And we'll use some of our special abilities here
Who
as
are you?
well.
Where's Lord Yukinaga?
He's not coming. Sent me instead.
He picked an amateur like you. Will this batch of shipments arrive as promised?
Whatever you're doing, we know it's not reconstruction.
Damn! One of Kanbei's dogs. Kill them!
Nice. So a good block right at the start, or rather a dodge at the start, trying to get away from that guy as he attacked immediately. And now we'll have to fight 4 or 5 level 25 bandits, including the bandit leader. And there, of course, is our special ability being used. A couple of different abilities that you can customize. Different things that they do, like knock back somebody very far, or do a lot of attacks on somebody very quickly.
Hontokuji Temple. They're storing the inventory there? A boat might help me reach Hontokuji faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they mentioned a boat here, and gonna fill up on some rations and then go to our next part of the objective then. But not too bad with the combat. It's okay. I gotta learn it a little bit more. I felt the same about Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'd love to bring it up again because it's a good game, but Mordau and Chivalry are games that I played before Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I'm sure they were inspired by that. So to learn that combat system took a little bit, but not as long as I was expecting, and is super rewarding now. Although this is basically more about timing on an Elden Ring level, and that's not bad in any way. It's just, you know, you have so many weapons and so many abilities. And then you have the ability to block and parry at a particular time. So it becomes really interesting to be able to do that whenever.
Your
So here I'm goofing around with the horse's controls a little bit, and also was trying to pick up loot. We can pick up loot on the back of horses, so that's good. And I was also trying to see how the horse was controlling, which looks good, but it was very sluggish again from my perspective through the latency. But I am hoping that that's not a thing when you're playing on an actual console or PC.
I'm not merchants mingling with us.
Always nighttime. Perfect time for an assassin.
All for a temple.
Okay, time to look around. Okay, so here I'm just looking around the world map to see if it's going to precisely show me where to go. It looks like things are on the left side of the building, but we're going to basically have to search the whole compound. I think finding things in this game is a little weird. You got to get into the blue circle, and then you've got to look around within that blue circle through the sight mode, and it's like, I think if we get up high enough and go into observe mode, we should be able to just see things like on a temple wall or like on the top of a pagoda, something of that effect. But we'll wander around a little bit and try to find that. I believe things are actually... That blue marker should be in the middle of the actual temple, because that's where the large shrine is. On the outside are a bunch of buildings that, you know, there's guard towers and some other things which... at a temple, interesting. But, yeah, there's like a few things that are hidden, 3 documents that are around the map. So I'm going to go ahead and just get, like, spotted and go in rough and see how combat is and how detection is. Playing really fast, of course, because we're under a time constraint for this one. We couldn't play it all day. We only had a few hours to play, so everything you see here is like rushed and trying to find what we could do in the shortest amount of time. So I appreciate everybody's understanding as we try to like figure out what the hell this game is going to be before it comes out, but we will see. And, of course, marking targets and looking for objectives. Standard day one.
If I were going to hide something, it would be in some place like this. A shrine that sits outside of Himeji. Marked on the map, but no mention of any shipments going there. I get a strange feeling from this place.
I think the temple looks good, and they have also nailed the look of the wood and some of the sounds that it makes. A little later in the game, I was surprised to hear that they have, I don't know if they have the squeaking sand that I think they imported to the Berlin Wall, but there was a sand that kind of would make noise when walked on. You can look this up. And I believe they use this in certain areas around Japan for security, but also there are floorboards that are meant to kind of make a noise if they're walked on. And so people would put that in their bed area at night, hoping that if an assassin got through and was walking to their room, there were uneven boards that were going to make a creaking noise, a squeaking noise, and that's the thing too. And they actually put that in, and I thought that was pretty cool, although I'm not sure if that could actually wake somebody up in the game if you're trying to assassinate them, because as I walked on it, everybody was already kind of awake or gone. But that is a cool game mechanic. Just doing some looting. Don't mind me.
These were all shipped from Bizen, signed by Lord Yukinaga. Interesting. Why does Himeji Castle need temple supplies?
Now, I believe I saw this in the trailer where you can hide with a stick of bamboo, and I don't know if you get one by default or have to find one, but you can stay underwater for a pretty long amount of time. I think if she was standing still, I'm not sure if she had a bamboo stick hanging out of the water. But clearly we were able to assassinate one character, and then the second one kind of had a foot near it, but we couldn't drag them in or stab them anywhere. But good element to use water as a kind of a stealth tool, and maybe a place to hide bodies. And additionally, be able to cross between areas that might be otherwise inaccessible. Or tunnels. Game has to have the standard required settlement from all millions of games have this. A cave behind the waterfall needs to be a secret room behind every waterfall. It probably has it. It has to.
Incense and the acrid smell of gunpowder. No wonder it stood out at the Rengakai. Lord Yukinaga's hunch was correct. His business associates are gun runners.
And a beautiful sunrise, too. We spent all
need to
night
talk to Lord
fighting and
Yukinaga.
stealthing, and now we got out of there at the crack of dawn. Pretty little port. Now, it did look like the horse was not permitted to go into the temple. I'm not sure if it was because it was a mission area, but something was preventing the horse from going through there. And the GPS says, hey, go up through the temple. But I thought, no. It could be because there was a mission objective there to find those books. But I decided to go off-road and just see if I could sneak around some bamboo and trees in order to then, you know, find my way back to where we want to go next. We got to report back to that guy, turn in that quest. Sunrise looks beautiful. I cannot wait to see other seasons. I couldn't switch things. It looks like I think we're in spring.
Oi!
Here!
Lord Yukinaga, I've located shipments of incense, heavily guarded incense at that, and signed off by you. Incense, ring any bells? For example, those Ronin that attacked the Rengakai? You've been shipping weapons, my lord, disguised as incense. Did you know this?
Incense from Bizen?
Uh-oh.
Yes, of course. But weapons? Of course not. A potential conspiracy has followed Lord Naoya all the way to Harima, it seems. Using temples as cover for their schemes?
And shrines. There was reference to a particular shrine of interest.
What are they moving there?
Nothing that I can tell, but I intend to find out. These places of worship are only temporary stockpiles. Part of the weapons they're removing have already gone to Himeji Castle.
Lord Naoya tried to help Harima, his son's new home, and these monsters have desecrated his work. They would stoop to any level, use a noble cause to get what they want. Utterly shameful behavior.
Monsters indeed. It will be best if you stay hidden until we set this right.
You're not the first to do this, peasant warrior.
Using incense to smuggle gunpowder. But he didn't know about it. So that'll be a cool quest. A quest line that I think will come up again in the future. Alright, so back to our objectives and back to looking around the world map. So I'm looking for the map marker here, and it does say in the briefing for the mission that the person to talk to could be in one of 3 areas, I believe. And we're going to be changing now to Yasuke. So let's get some combat in with Big Man. He's very tall. He doesn't look like it, but he's as tall as the horse. Like, the cutscenes and what I've seen before, he doesn't look like a big boy, but when he's in some combat, it's like, it's crazy. It's a giant. So yeah, there's all our different weapons then. Daybreak's Fury being that like giant club. I'm going to play with katanas for a while, still trying to perfect that block with blade. But of course, anything could be used for that. And looking again at all the abilities for him and the different stances and things like that. Pretty self-explanatory what we would have, like higher sword damage and maybe better accuracy, or the ability to carry more of a throwable, or maybe have a longer range of something. The gun also has some upgrades too, and in addition to that has different ammo types. So there's like steel bullets, and I think that's like a standard shot. And then there might be like flame, explosion, and poison. I didn't really pay too much attention to the gun ammo yet, but we will be shooting off the gun here in just a little bit. So it should be just a moment. We got 2 more points to spend too. They gave us like, what, 9 or 10? And each of these like level 2 and level 3 perks do cost mostly, like, it looks like 3 points. So not all abilities are just 1. So to do a whole tech tree, it's going to take a lot of time.
Yojiro would love this.
And we're ready to ride. Very pretty. Well, would you look at that, a shrine? Alright, so back to the town at Himeji. Still looking around for that objective, but they're really wanting us just to follow the instructions on the left side. But we, I don't know, I get close and figure it out that way. But again, I've been seeing developers try to create like cryptic quests in both Kingdom Come Deliverance and in this game and a few others, where sometimes it's not that they don't lay it out directly for you, it's just inconsistent when they do and don't. So sometimes I'm not even sure if I'm in the right area, because you go from handhold mode to Olympic swimmer back to like diapers and training wheels. So it's a very weird range sometime of being too much yellow paint. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you're running around and trying to find how to climb a building or something, there's all this yellow paint that shows you exactly the route. But some people want to find it out on their own. But then doing that, of course, sometimes a game doesn't think logically. Sometimes in a game they won't even let you use a ladder. They want you to like climb up and figure it out. So it's like, okay, sure. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to try to climb this temple and see how his parkour is, and it's atrocious. He can maybe climb up on top of a small roof or a building, but that's about it. You're going to want Naoya here for getting up to the top of the pagoda. I'm trying to see if like he can maybe do a wall jump or some sort of wall grab, where he can jump up and at least maybe reach that ledge just above the cobblestone, but no. He's not going to be able to do it. I'm disappointed. Well, that building right now is probably a Jersey Mike's right here. You got your Himeji Castle, your shrine, and then I think I may have been to the shrine as well. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure we went to a shrine somewhere between Himeji and Osaka. We took a train, the Shinkansen, when I was there back in, I think the last time I saw Himeji was 2018, I think it was. Regardless, it was a beautiful place, and I think I did see this particular pagoda, and I have plenty of pictures of all of them. And they literally give you a little cue here that, hey, she should be the one to climb that, so I appreciate that. Going back to what I was mentioning, though, I did go to a bunch of temples and shrines and other stuff like that, and yeah, it was a good time. So if you ever get an opportunity, definitely go. And also got to see a lot of samurai armor too, which was like, okay, if I'm going to Japan, I got to do a couple stereotypical things. Have some sushi, which was amazing, and have some, look at some samurai armor, which was amazing. And then, not until more recently, I was like, nah, I'm never gonna have McDonald's in Japan. There's too much good food. Got convinced to go into a McDonald's. Never regret it. Even McDonald's, there is it better. It's better. It just is. So yeah, kind of a bummer that exploration with Yasuke. He's kind of more like you might only call him out for the combat elements, because it feels like this world was more designed for it to be an Assassin's Creed game, designed to be like an Assassin's Creed game. No way, Raptor. Absolutely, dude. And nowadays, she just plays like that. She plays like any other regular old assassin, and she's got all the abilities too to assassinate. And cool though that she's got that grappling hook. Yasuke could definitely use that. Our bro dude, Guy Fam, I think is his name. He needs one of those. There it is, Himeji Castle. The White Castle, I believe. Good burgers. That's cool. Sinking is pretty cool, as always. And then the ability to look at some, like, points of interest around you. Not bad. Looking around for the stereotypical, bale of hay or like wagon, nowhere to be found. I noticed there too a little fall damage from the wall, and then it immediately gets healed up. So it seems like there is fall damage to death, but if you don't die, then I think you get refunded. Okay, time to find that lady now. Again, I'm still struggling trying to figure out what the hell to do, and it's about going to the location that we've hovered on the right side of the map. The western side is where she is. But it looks like there's a couple of different options to like go down this quest. Anyway, let's kick some ass. I think we're going to switch to Yasuke. Also, at some of these points, too, where we're hovering in the menu, the folks over at Ubisoft are also kind of telling me some things, too, that we're able to do. And we're trying to be helpful with a few things, but nowhere near where they, like, even intrusive at all. If there was something that I had a question about, I could ask right there, but I barely asked any questions at all, aside from like what the transition was like between the different chapters that we would play in the little preview.
I will be attacked on
Oh boy.
sight.
Here we go. Woo! Beheading.
Run from you!
Bloody.
Are you a friend of Tokube? What has that dolt gotten himself into this time?
This is what I'm trying to find out. Do you know where he is?
He has likely started gambling again, based on how many people he owes money to. Again. But then, I found this in his room. What is a watch commander doing with a shrine fortune? I don't think I've ever seen him pray.
Any idea where I can find him?
I bet he's at that gambling den in town. If you see him, tell him his dear wife can't wait to break his tailbone with her foot.
A fortune? But the characters do not make sense. A secret message?
You are
Tokube has
leaving?
gone through extra trouble
Good.
to hide this.
When you find Tokube, give him a brush.
Tokube likely has been compromised. I should see if I can find the gambling den first. Tokube has yet to resurface.
One thing I really like about Yasuke in this game so far is that he's very soft-spoken and seems to be intelligent but withdrawn. Very different to other characters who are like big and ballsy, and I guess a direct comparison would be like
This has to be the
Yasuke
gambling den.
and Naoe are like Cloud and Barret from Final Fantasy VII, except reversed, right? He is very much like Cloud in this game, where he's kind of more quiet and kind of more deep and dark, and you know, in that game Barrett's a lot more loud, and so even though our stealth character here is supposed to be stealthy, she seems to be the loud one who's doing all sorts of like you know, she's like screaming and like getting all emotional and very loud in a way that just fits her character. And now Yasuke is kind of just more quiet and just seems to be more of an observer, wants to see all the things that happen before he does something. I like that, man. I'm definitely more like he is, that's for sure.
He is coming!
Yep, time for some gunplay too. Damn. And so as I mentioned, he's very loud in combat, right? He's his moves are big and loud and huge movements, taking on huge enemies, that kind of thing. But then, you know, when he's speaking and stuff like that, very quiet. So an interesting take too. And again, opposite with the with our lady friend, she's very you know, quiet in her combat, but very loud when she talks. So I think at this point I may have like angered the town guard and stuff. So we're about to see like the guardians and stuff. Oh, I think I just died to death here. Oh wow, our first death. Died to death. Oh, and this is good to show off too. If we desynchronize, here's the loading time for this, at least on their machines. So we've died. We're going to need to go back to a checkpoint somewhere nearby. It takes maybe 3 or 4 seconds, and we're right back at that lady's house. So not bad. Not bad at all. Oh yeah, there's a few more things then on the armor and horses and things of that nature. And the armor is a little bit more interesting than I was expecting. I thought it would be just, you know, health and critical damage, but I was not expecting the perks down there too. Although that's something that's fairly common. I was just like, oh, it's there. Well, that's right. I've seen that in a million games. So, and yes, indeed, this is one that has horse armor. I think we all know that's the origin stories of microtransactions. And yeah, I wonder what the transactions will be for this game. And I hope we don't get any of those shady practices where we get like a, you know, there's like a business, like a reputable reviewer, let's say. And they let all the review teams, not creators who would be kind of suspecting that, but people like GameSpy or GameSpy, lol. Do you remember GameSpy, dude? I meant GameSpot, PC Gamer, Giant Bomb, those types of thing. And they would let them play the game, and then later, right after they put out their review, they pop in they flip the switch on the whole, hey, you know, now you can download all this stuff. Like they flip a switch and the online store becomes available, so that's kind of annoying. So hopefully we don't get something like that.
The Rengakai are linked to the merchants who smuggled weapons into Himeji Castle. Weapons from Bizen, home of Ukita Naoya and his son. They are using places of worship to hide weapons and other secrets.
Mm-hmm. So now back to the gambling den or wandering around a little bit. We're basically just spending a little bit of time kind of getting ready for the next segment here. And I wanted to stand still and kind of look at all the environment too. The leaves and trees are blowing actually like quite realistically, right? Like we're seeing leaves flying every which way. They're not all flying the same direction. I recently saw footage of Ghost of Tsushima again, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe what kind of a game that was. A game that relied on the players to find their own way by looking at visual cues like the wind blowing around and whatnot. A very minimal HUD type game, and that's awesome. All right, check this out. We're going on to the next section.
You have something to discuss?
So here we're basically going to enter the end of this preview area at the top of Himeji Castle, go on a boss battle, and then I'll certainly fight a lot more enemies. So here comes some good combat. Get ready for it. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, my lord. About Lord Hideye.
The young lord?
On his way back to the province of Bizen, the home of his father, Lord Ukita Naoye, the same man behind the attack at the Rengakai.
He kidnapped his own son.
The attack at the Rengakai was aimed at me.
With Hideye caught in the middle.
He has stationed a private force at Himeji Castle, a backup plan for a meeting he never planned to attend.
This is a serious allegation. Though, you gain nothing from fabricating the truth.
You cannot meet Lord Naoya in Himeji. Call off the meeting and your guards.
That would tip our hand. We will lose the opportunity to strike.
Your safety is paramount, my lord.
No. My safety is a secondary. Stopping Ukita Naoye is more important. Whatever happens that night must stay within the walls of Himeji Castle.
Lord Kanbei, as long as he remains in Himeji Castle, Lord Naoye will have the upper hand.
One cannot parry a blade they do not expect to strike.
Lord Kanbei is right. We have the element of surprise. Lord Naoya's men will not see us coming. But to leave you alone with him...
No. I must find out what he thinks he stands to gain. And I must be willing to take what he fears to lose.
Lord Naoye has plenty to lose besides his son. If you bring Lord Hideye into this, then our deal is off.
I will talk to Ukita Naoya in terms he can understand and appreciate. Make our preparations.
Alright, we get to pick for this section again, which immediately makes me want to go back and play it again as the opposite
Lord
character.
Kanbei is right. For the young lord's sake. I will go. Meet me at the Honmaru. So many samurai in service to the Ukita clan.
Alright, so we got to switch our equipment again as we're entering a new section, and I'm again hoping for the more further customization of our outfits and such by unlocking certain armor and then just being able to change its appearance. I just also noticed that the camp popped up again too, so it'd be cool to customize the camp too with just more than, well, you got your usual buildings like maybe a forge and a barracks and things like that, but I'm talking about like decorations. It would be cool to add a little decor to our home base, and I have seen a little bit of it in the B-roll footage, but I had no idea what it would be like, and I have not been able to play that part, but it is cool to know that there is base building here, and you know, minimal at that, but it's certainly very cool that it is there, and I would prefer it to be here than not, and I hope it's present in every future game like this. We'll see. Also, at this point, I'm looking for our mastery points, but it doesn't look like we can spend them at that point. We have 9 in the upper right corner, but we're not able to spend those. So hopefully in the final version, in a complete build of the game, you're able to spend those points at any point, like even if you're in the midst of a mission. Clearly, this section is to get to the top of the castle, fight your way up through the courtyards, into the castle itself, and then all the way to the top. So I don't know why we're not able to do that at the moment. It could be like a bug or something unintended for this section, but I'm also looking through all of our weapons and changing those up too, so we can get a little different feel for things. I was hoping that we had mastery points here, because since we were resetting our character, I wanted to use some of those points for weapons we hadn't really been using, but unfortunately we didn't really get the chance here.
It is to Lord Naoya, and they have all
Blocked. I need to find another way. Overzealous soldiers. Aggressive. They must be dealt with first. These soldiers, not of Himeji Castle. Reaching Lord Naoya's samurai will be trickier than I thought. That is the Honmaru Gate. I am nearly there.
Possible threat?
This one carried a letter. So we're being hunted by Mitsuhide's Ronin. I will have to be careful on the roads.
That door bashing is a really weird mechanic. Like, you have to run away from the door, then sprint at it, and then, like, hit Y. It would be nice if a door were locked. It would just say locked, and then have you hold Y, and then he'd just take a couple of steps back and then plow through it. It's kind of cumbersome to have to, like, run away and then run at the door again. You kind of look goofy turning around and doing that.
I've taken care of Naoya's hidden shinobi. Did his samurai prove troublesome?
Nothing I could not handle. Now, we have to get to Lord Kanbei before something happens to him.
Maybe Lord Kanbei has already talked Naoya to death, and all his men prowling the area. I'll clear out Naoya's men surrounding the meeting area. Can you stand watch here?
I will meet you at the meeting area when you are finished.
Alright, it begins. Clear out the guards around the final boss, and then fight the final boss. Still a very pretty game, though. I only was able to kind of go around Himeji and the city kind of, or area surrounding it, so I'm very curious to see what Osaka will look like and what other, big cities will look like. In other words, they're probably a lot larger than 1 or 2 blocks. I hope. I really hope. Alright, gotta re-equip her armor too.
There will be more of them.
The matter of our borders, the ceasefire with the Mori to the west, must be enforced.
And what of the Rengakai?
We have also uncovered information on the man who ordered the attack. Soon, we will bring him to justice.
What can you tell me of this man?
a man of high standing from Chugoku. He came to Harima to plot my assassination. But to what end, I cannot fathom. Lord Naoye, what say you?
Some claim you can see the future, Lord Kanbei. That you are the brains behind Lord Hideyoshi's successes. You tell me.
To prevent Lord Hideyoshi's victory on the battlefield. To claim Harima for yourself and your Shadow League.
You will die by seppuku in this room, and Hashiba Hideyoshi's stake in Harima will die with you.
All this for another crumb of power. And yet your son, his safety was secondary to your objective. My men are tending to his wounds as we speak. He is in good hands. Our hands.
Bastard. He's threatening to harm Lord Hideye.
Your action will be met with a bloodbath. My forces have taken control of this castle.
Your men are all dead. Your conspiracy dismantled. You are trapped.
And you are trapped here with me. Was it worth it, Kuroda Kanbei? Throwing away your life to gloat?
Finally.
Your son is a bright, intelligent boy. He looks up to you, worries about you. And he is right too. Lord Hideyoshi will never forgive you. And by extension, he will never forgive your son. Do what is right.
I have your word. My life for his.
Your life for his.
So, you are the ones who sold my son, so he could be wielded against me.
Put the weapon down, Naoye.
No matter. I am not to be disturbed in the Tenshu. There's one thing I have left to do.
Yes, my lord.
The path to the Tenshu will be guarded.
What do we do?
I can cut a path through his remaining forces.
I saw the look of a man who is ready to die. What happens next is up to you, Yasuke.
I have some words for you, Kanbei.
I will chase down Ukita Naoye. Lord Naoye will be at the top of the Tenshu. That is where I need to go.
Nobunaga-sama.
Lord Naoye. Lord Naoya and his men were here. I am too late.
What could that be? It's Yasuke! Don't have time for this! No!
Unfortunately, some fights are unavoidable.
Yeah. You hear that floor? That's what I was talking about earlier, that squeaky floor to prevent assassins from sneaking up on you. They put that in, and I hope that has something to do with the game mechanics for trying to be stealthy in the future. Like, it'd be cool if there was an area where you can't really stealth because there's precautions for that. Cool little detail. Only took seconds to see it.
I can't do this! I will kill you, samurai!
So finally switching up some weapons here, and yeah, seeing if we can block or parry a little bit better. It's still a little off, but it is nice to be able to pull off a block parry, or a parry and then an attack. Counterattacking the enemy is really fun when they get staggered, and this, I'm just testing the AI here to see what he does. This dude's running all around doing all sorts of weird stuff. I could only imagine that it's difficult to program this stuff in a very small space, like a, you know, third or fourth story of a Japanese castle, but it is still like pretty cool to play this as if the enemies are very dangerous. I'd rather prefer to have like smaller groups of incredibly skilled enemies than like larger groups. I guess it makes sense to have low-level bandits that are just armed with, like, I don't know, hammers and small knives, but it is much more rewarding to kill a shinobi or any sort of like high-level commander like the lieutenant earlier. So, but yeah, just going through the area slowly. I mean, you've seen all the combat there, which has pretty much shown that it's Assassin's Creed for sure. It really much is, and I mean, that's all I was expecting. I didn't expect for anything to really be too much different. We'll try a new weapon this time around. Oh, hi there, pal. Guy blew right past me.
There. I can use the floor trap to go up.
Of course. Escape was never an option.
Then why did you run?
I wanted some privacy. To finally read Hideya's words.
He's cornered. One of us should be enough. They killed your daimyo.
They killed your father.
I'll do it.
I will join you when you are finished.
Spring fears not the fall. Could you give me one more moment?
Finish.
The yellow flower blooms. Seeds wake up in the black earth. Spring fears not the fall.
Hideya's stanza.
He writes from the heart. He fights for our clan in his own way, just as I did when I was his age. I should have read this earlier. Shall we? One last kill for the Shinbakufu. Then I will do what is needed.
An actual, like, easy boss battle, I feel. Like, I took so minimal damage here. I actually have more trouble with some of the other enemies, mostly because they're in groups. But this must be like one of the first bosses in the game. And of course we have some really high level armor and equipment, so it might be a little more difficult like that in the future.
Tell me where the box is.
With the Tatsu, would prove he is worthy of the power he desires.
How?
Don't know. Never cared for it. In situ, I only wanted to see downfall of Kakushiba Ikki to ensure my goals would not be interrupted in Harima.
Killing Lord Kanbei was only part of it. But it was not about power for you, was it?
I had power, and yet I was powerless to bring my son home. Never realized I never lost him. The Tatsu power will never. It cannot give him what he wants.
Yasuke, let me do this.
I'm just gonna kill him, I think. And it's a horrible assassination scene. Look at how... This is dumb.
My son. My life for his. In all my lives.
And that's it. No, that was it.
Kanbei, I thought we agreed Lord Hideye was off limits.
I heeded your words, Naoe. Hurting the boy was never an option. Lord Naoye insisted on keeping our alliance strong. And now, it will continue with the new head of the Ukita clan. To save Hideye's life, I had to convince Lord Naoye to give up his own.
And what of Lord Hideyoshi's wrath?
Contained. Aside from us, no one else will know what has transpired.
What should I tell Hideye?
What he needs to hear.
Tell him the truth. He will need to grow into the man he is meant to be.
Lord Kanbei, and new friends. I hope I wasn't too much trouble for you all.
Nonsense, young lord. Here, Naoe accompanied your father in his last moments.
My father. What did he say to you?
Your father chose to give up his life. For yours, my lord. For you to realize your own potential.
He has done so from the day I was born. Thank you. I will honor him.
Poor boy. We will look after him.
It will give him peace, but not much else.
I hope you act in his interest. Goodbye, Lord Kanbei.
All right, so that's pretty much it for the little opening section here. So they let us go through a few different sections of the game, which was nice. There won't be any footage from the earlier part of the game, the prologue, and like everything before getting to Himeji, which is still pretty early game, but all that stuff doesn't matter. What really matters is that I enjoyed what I played, and I feel like it's definitely an Assassin's Creed game that is a little bit more, it seems to be telling a story that is a little bit towards a little bit more history-like, that like it's actually going on at the time, as where some of the more recent Assassin's Creed games did feel like they were in the past. I know that doesn't make sense, but what I mean is that it seems to do a very good job of making it seem like we're just basically playing in a feudal Japan environment that is like living and breathing, as where I think with Mirage it felt like it was an Assassin's Creed game. They did nail the open world environment and stuff like that too. Now we're going to see a little bit of this quest from before, and I'm just going to talk over this section. We'll just skip around and stuff like that. But overall, I want to play this game a lot more. The world's beautiful, the environment's beautiful, the weather, the seasons, like everything from the structures to the world and all that is great. Character design outstanding. I guess really the only thing I could say for the anybody's gripe with it could be how is the combat with that block parry, and also the horse too when I actually get a chance to play it installed on my PC. And then what is the game like in terms of its story? Does it have a great story that then kind of gets thrown away at the end? I hope that's not the case. I hope that there's a great build up to something that's really cool, and then a possible like DLC or sequel, something like that. Ghost of Tsushima did an outstanding job with that, having a DLC that kind of cut into the middle of the game-ish, like, somewhere not towards the end and not towards the beginning. So I think they certainly did a good job in that game of adding a ton of content, a very serious subject matter, and this feels like that too. But it definitely, 110% is an Assassin's Creed game, so it's got all those features and things in there. So I want to know from all you guys then, what is the best Assassin's Creed game in your opinion? What is the first Assassin's Creed game did you ever play? What more Assassin's Creed games should they remake, and which one has features that they should bring into modern Assassin's Creeds, like this one and any that they make in the future, or perhaps some that they should have made in the past? Assassin's Creed, I really hope it's a series that continues to stay around. I know that there's a little, they're ruffling some feathers here with this one for some reasons that I don't even fully understand, but I don't know. I mean, I'm playing a game where like I'm time traveling through people's DNA and like trying to stop a fictional Freemasons organization from doing it's like, okay, I can just basically suspend my disbelief and kind of disregard anything that I see that's a little weird. When I first saw trailers of this game too, like the biggest thing that freaked me out was that they were growing rice in like the autumn or something. Like it was off season, and I was like, why are they growing rice in like Sakura season or something? Like you would see grains of rice like how you see them there. I don't know if that's still the case, because I honestly don't know what season we're in, but I could imagine by the trees that, whatever. Look, it's not that big of a deal. But it does make me want to play more of Ghost of Tsushima, more of Sengoku Dynasty, more, of course, this game, and also very excited for Ghost of Yotai, although I'm not sure when that's coming out. I think this is certainly something that if you're a big fan of all the, anything to do with samurai, a lot of people basically getting into samurai lore and whatnot and history on the original, like The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, and then other movies came out, other games. I remember Total War when it had Shogun and Shogun 2. People freaked out, man. People freaked out, so cool stuff. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave my thoughts there. I had a good time with the game. I am going to leave everybody with maybe some more B-roll that I didn't get a chance to showcase through this. That might answer additional questions, but we will be playing this one. It seems pretty fun. I want to play more. They've got my interest. Now let's see if they get our full attention and see what everybody else thinks when it releases sometime, hopefully this year. I don't want to say when, because I feel like it's going to move 2 or 3 more times, but it should be soon. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.
Maybe it's going poorly.